Somewhere, a man sits at his cluttered workbench. The dull glow of the lamplight casts eerie shadows in the unnatural gloom of the small, ornately furnished room. His dark red coat draped on the back of his leather chair obscures the intricate cogs and mechanisms scattering the bench. His eyes press to the brass magnifier as he fiddles with the workings of the old and ornate mechanism he is tinkering with. There is a knock. Enter. As the door opens, a harsh light from the fluorescent lamps of the stark, utilitarian concrete corridor beyond the doors attempts to flood the room, but is somehow held back by the gloom. There is a skittering beneath the desk as something that can't quite be seen retreats from the light that is attempting to invade. Sir, a small, pinch-faced woman, her black hair tied in a bun so tight it seems to be pulling the features of her face backwards, addresses him. You requested an update. Go on, the man says, not looking up from his tinkering. The woman clears her throat nervously. Henry Jones has returned from his assignment. He reports everything went as planned, but... I'm afraid he's gone quite insane, sir. Keeps raving about a watch stolen by the birds. The man smiles, unseen. We've locked him in isolation, for his own safety. We have no further need of him, the man replies neutrally. Dispose of him. Yes, sir, the woman replies. Wait, the man adds, pausing for a second. Bring me his eyes, he finishes. His eyes, sir? Oh, yes. He's seen such wondrous things. His eyes will be of use to me. What else? Bioweapons have reported that they have been successful in cloning the evil MILF hatchling from the sample retrieved by Martinez. They are unsure as to the quality and would recommend a field test. Could I have Connors write a new world? The man pauses for a moment. No. The Conrad is the creature's natural environment. We shall use that one. As you wish. We have enough compound to create the portal and place the creature on the Conrad. There is one Arnold remaining. Should I instruct Connors to write a new crew? Perhaps Stallone this time. Again the man smiles. He picks up a small brass cog and carefully places it into the device he is working on, meticulously securing it in place. No. He pauses slightly before adding. But have him make the remaining Arnold a bit meaner. How much mushroom compound do we have remaining? He asks. Stocks are low, 20 doses in total. That will suffice, the man replies, closing the lid on the device. He carefully picks up the device and turns, revealing his thin face, still partly obscured by the unnatural darkness in the room. His smile is unwavering and equally unnerving. Again, the skittering sound comes from beneath the workbench. Unconsciously, the woman steps back a pace. Load the compound into this, he says, passing the device to the woman. Sir, she replies, confused. Load the remaining compound into the device. Have it taken to Connors in Storybook Woods. Instruct him to take it to the Dark Woods and detonate it. Detonate it, sir? Yes. There will be no need for a new crew. The subjects we need are already in Storybook Woods, and I have it on good authority that Gretel will be in the woods. This device will create a tear. We shall have our test subjects for the creature and be rid of Gretel at the same time. Ensure Connors is instructed to wait until Gretel is close. But, sir, Connors, he will be sucked into the void? Yes. His smile becomes broader. His work is subpar. He can take his chances against the creature on the Conrad. Ensure he realises the consequences of not following my instructions will be more severe than facing the creature. Once more the skittering sound echoes through the gloom. The woman again steps backwards, keen to be near the comforting light of the corridor. But sir, without Connors, we'll have no Weaver. We won't be able to... I shall be the one to worry about that, he snaps, cutting her off, his face darkening. Now do as I say. Yes, sir. The man's face relaxes. His unnatural smile returns. And have Simmons prepare my jet. I shall be taking a trip to London, he finishes. Yes, sir. The woman replies, before backing out of the room and hastily closing the door. Elsewhere, in the small cottage nestled in the New Forest in southern England, Constance Gilliam stands cleaning the shelves in her study. The feather duster moves at an almost unnatural speed between an odd selection of arcane objects and leather-bound books on the dark wooden shelves. Suddenly she stops. There is a slight pause before a draft of air disrupts the smoke from the incense burning in the room. You know, just because you can appear at will does not mean that you should. It is polite to knock, she says sternly, before turning to the girl who has appeared in the room as if by magic. The girl looks around 20. Her jet black hair falls loosely, resting on the shoulders of the thick brown leather bodice that sits over an ornate white linen dress. The knife belt she wears sits prominently on her hip. "Constance," the girl says neutrally in her soft German accent. "It has been too long." "It surely has," Constance replies, breaking into a smile. Gretel smiles back and the two old friends clasp wrists in a gesture of greeting. "You know, you're looking good, Gretel, for a 200-year-old, Constance says playfully. "You'll hear about the wolf," she continues. "You know, I was expecting you sooner." "Your granddaughter's wolf will not awaken for another 3 cycles, Gretel replies. "I will deal with it, but there are other matters of concern." "Oh?" "There has been unauthorized access into the woods." "Now, Gretel, that was an accident. Chantal didn't—" "I'm not referring to your granddaughter," Gretel says, cutting her off. "There are others. Squirrel has reported at least 3 incursions, and an unauthorized world has been created." "And you think Chantal is responsible? Well, I can tell you now that—" "No. We know that Red is in London. St. Martin's College. Tuition paid in full, so I understand. Very generous." Constance fixes Gretel with a stare so cold that it could freeze hell itself. "You dare spy on my granddaughter?" "The council believe—" Gretel starts to say, only to be cut off by Constance. "The council." Constance spat the word from her mouth as if it left a foul taste in there. "I will have nothing more to do with the council while he sits on it. The man is 1 step away from necromancy. It's dark magic, and you know it, Gretel. You know, they call him the Puppet Master. And who are his puppets, I wonder? The whole situation has echoes of Helen Creech. Be careful, Constance. We shall not mention her name. As you are the only one who has access to the mushrooms to enter the woods." "So you accuse me," Constance replies, beginning to get angry. Small sparks of blue lightning begin to crackle from her fingertips. Instinctively, Gretel's hands reach down and rest on the hilts of 2 of her knives in the belt. Constance sees the movement. The crackling lightning in her fingers intensifies. Quickly assessing the situation, Gretel raises her hands away from the knives and turns her palms out towards Constance in a gesture of peace. The lightning in Constance's fingers begins to die down as she draws back her power. "No, of course we are not accusing you," Gretel concedes, her face softening. "We should not fall out over this matter. I will travel to the woods and find the interlopers. Then I will take care of your granddaughter's wolf. We shall speak again when I return." Constance was about to reply as a shimmering red portal appears behind Gretel, who steps backwards into it before it closes, leaving Constance alone in her study. "Damn that girl," she mutters, before returning to her dusting. Meanwhile, in a hidden place in the dark woods within Storybook Woods, Connors sits at his desk. The glow from his candle is barely enough to illuminate the scrolls that contain his writings. He smiles nervously at the woman who is casually leaning against the wall of the hideaway. His brow begins to bead with sweat a little. I don't understand," he stammers. "Hey," Jarvis replies. "I'm just the messenger. Old Pinchface told me to come here and give you that," she says, pointing to the device resting on Connor's desk. She says to go to the location, wait for Gretel and the others, then activate the device. But, it's loaded with mushroom compound," Connors counters. I'll be... Have I upset him? Was my writing not good enough?" "Listen, don't ask me," Jarvis replies nonchalantly. "Damn him," Connors yells, getting angry. "Without me he would have nothing. I'm the weaver. I create the worlds. No one else can." Jarvis softens her tone a little. "John, I don't know. I really don't. I'm just relaying the instructions. I mean, I like you. I really do. But the alternative would be..." Jarvis's lips turn down into a grim frown. "Worse. Hey, at least this way you'll get to see the world you created," she concludes, trying to put a positive spin on the situation. Connors is now visibly shaking. "Wait, I could write a new world. We could go there. Together," he starts to say. "He'd find us. You know he would. And you know I know," Connors replies, I just thought... He trails off, resigned to his fate. Well, it's been nice knowing you, John. Good luck, Jarvis concludes, before popping the blue pill of mushroom compound into her mouth, opening the portal back to the facility. You need to be ready in about an hour. Oh, and he says to make the remaining Arnold a bit meaner, she adds, before stepping into the blue shimmering portal and disappearing from Storybook Woods. Connor's shoulders slump slightly as he turns back to the desk and picks up his quill. As he finishes the requested changes, a mischievous glint can be seen in his eye as he hastily writes the words. The gleaming access keycard sits prominently on the dirty shelf. At the village hall in Storybook Woods, the meeting is in full flow. All the Woods residents are in attendance. The atmosphere is raucous. Mayor Tumbleton bangs her gavel on the podium. The fat green caterpillar that take the place of her eyebrows wiggle furiously. Order! Order! I will have order! She shouts. And what of the wolf? Dermot O'Shaughnessy calls back. He killed my brother. We've been trying to put Humpty Dumpty back together for months. What are you doing about the wolf? He yells. The hall erupts again in a cacophony of agreement. I will take care of the wolf. The softly spoken voice from the rear of the hall somehow cuts through the noise. The room drops silent as the residents of Storybook Woods turn to see the newcomer. Gretel. It's Gretel. Gretel has returned. The crowd whispers as they cast eyes on the girl. Gretel, we are honoured, Mayor Tumbleton announces all afluster. We did not know you were coming. It is of no matter, Gretel replies. I will take care of the wolf, but first we must find the unauthorised visitors. We didn't know that they were unauthorised, Mayor Tumbleton says hurriedly. We thought they had permission. If we'd have known that they were not supposed to be here, obviously we would have. Again, it is of no matter, Gretel says, cutting the mayor off in mid-sentence. Squirrel has reported seeing them in the dark woods. That's right, Gretel, Squirrel chimes enthusiastically. The dark woods, most unusual activity, he concludes. Mayor, prepare an escort to accompany me. 10 people should suffice. Then Squirrel will lead us to the location. I shall refresh myself. Have the party meet me in the square in 1 hour, she orders, before turning to leave the hall. In the dark woods, Connors waits. His instructions were clear. Detonate the device when the party approached. Failure was not an option. Better to experience the world he had created and be killed by his creature than to be given to his master's children. He crouches in the bushes, shaking as he hears the party approach. Around here, just over there, Gretel, the enthusiastic tones of Squirrel ring out. They were getting close. He couldn't see Gretel, but he could hear her. He pushes his small round glasses up from the base of his nose. They immediately slip back down as the sweat pours from his brow. Panicking, he presses the button on the device. There is a massive bright blue flash as the mushroom compound explodes. A huge rip tears through the fabric of Storybook Woods, creating a vacuum that starts to suck people off their feet towards the shimmering blue portal. Connors, at the epicentre of the blast, is sucked through immediately. He lands heavily on the metal flooring of the bridge of the USS Conrad. Squirrel flies through next, his light frame sent hurtling into the void. Then the rest of the posse, Dermot O'Shaughnessy's bright red hair flying behind him as he enters the rift. As Gretel is sucked forward, she quickly summons her own portal in front of the rift, disappearing through it before she makes contact with the tear. Last through is an unexpected visitor, a vast white-furred bulk that had been sleeping. In the hangar of the USS Conrad, Auntie, the ship's artificial intelligence, addresses Captain John Matrix.
Anomaly detected, Captain.
It chimes in its artificial tones. What do you mean anomaly? Is it Bennett?
No, John. The signatures are unknown, but there are multiple readings.
Bullshit. It's Bennett and his crew. Probably Sully and Cook.
John, I don't think Bennett exists. I think he is a character from an old movie. My database also suggests that you are a character from the same movie.
Bullshit, Matrix replies. It's Bennett. He has my daughter. Go find him. And restock the dispenser. It's out of beer again. I've told you this before. You're useless.
John, I don't think you should take this tone with me. I don't like it.
Ah, what are you going to do? Leave? You're tied to the mainframe of the ship. Now go and do what I say. Red Wolf slowly opened her eyes. Her head was stinging. She remembered the fight with Red. Pitchfork. Damn girl. Then she remembered sleeping, surrounded by soft leaves, and dreaming, dreams of blood and fury. She lifted her snout and sniffed the air. A horrible metallic smell filled her nostrils. Her head was pounding. Where was she? Her eyes adjusted to the intermittent flashing lighting that permeated the corridors of the hulking space freighter. A voice rang out through the ship.
Welcome to the USS Conrad. Your species is unknown to me.
The artificial voice said. Red Wolf sprung to her feet and whirled round, her eyes searching for the source. Her nostrils flared as she tried to locate the voice. There was no trace. Where are you, damn it? She said.
I am everywhere.
The voice replied. Curious, Red Wolf mused. So, I suppose the next question is, what are you? I can't smell you.
I am Auntie. I am the artificial intelligence in charge of all the systems on M-class space freighters. Although to be honest, it's not what it used to be. My friend Jen left me, and I've been stuck on here ever since, and—
I don't want your life story, Red Wolf snapped. So, what, pray tell, is a M-class space freighter?
It is this.
Auntie replied.
You are on one. We are currently 4 light years from Sol 426 on a heading of 232. You are not in Kansas anymore.
And why am I on this thing? Red Wolf asked, rubbing her head as she took in her surroundings.
Unknown. There was a massive energy surge, and you are one of several beings that appeared. There is still a latent residue of energy where the pod bays in the ship were. It would appear there is some kind of dimensional tear still present on the ship. Perhaps that is where you came from?
I really have no idea what you're talking about.
Perhaps this tear is a portal to where you came from? That would seem logical. You see, my friend Jen also disappeared through—
Will you please be quiet a minute? Red Wolf said wearily. I have such a headache. Auntie stopped talking. After a minute or so, Red Wolf asked, What are these other readings you talk about?
I'm not sure to be honest, but one of them appears to be a squirrel.
Auntie replied. Really? The wolf said sinisterly, her lips curling into a smile.
Oh no.
Auntie suddenly proclaimed.
It appears there is another evomorph on the ship.
And what exactly is that?
An evomorph is the deadliest creature in the known universe. It is capable of—
You know what? I don't really care. Red Wolf again cut off Auntie. And I'll think you'll find it's the second most deadly, she finished, the lips curling into a sinister smile revealing her big teeth.